Hey, Austin, it is very good to see you. Today, we are talking about the safe investment that is now yielding almost 10%. Series I savings bonds. I feel like I am hearing about this from so many directions these days. They are tied to the inflation rate, which, as you know, has been the headline for so long. The CPI recently jumped 8.5%. We haven't seen inflation numbers like that since the 80s. So let's just start by breaking it down, please. What is an I bond and is it a good investment?
Sure, Aaron. So an I bond at its core is simply a US government bond, and it has two base components. So we have one of the pieces is a fixed rate, which is
Right.
currently set at zero. And then the
Mhm.
other component is tied to that inflation rate that you just mentioned. So currently, an I bond issued from May 2022 through October 2022 is paying 9.62%.
That is a very high number considering what I'm comparing it against other safe investments that we hear, CDs or savings accounts, their returns right now are 0.15 and 0.06 respectively. So maybe an I bond would be a good investment for somebody who's typically in CDs.
That's right. I think when we look at the landscape of safe investments and something that is certainly more attractive than 0.1% that we would get
Right?
in money market or CD account, I bonds can be a good alternative. Now, they do come with a few things that we have to consider, and one of those is liquidity. So we want to be sure that we can access the money when we need to, should that need
Right.
arise. And second is there is a cap on I bonds of 10,000 per investor per calendar year.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know those limitations. I feel like another thing that I hear about a lot when we're talking about inflation hedges are tips. How do I bonds compare to tips?
Yeah, so tips are treasury inflation protected securities. And I think where they're similar is they both kind of are that inflation hedge asset. Now, with tips, the interest rate can be adjusted on a monthly basis, whereas with I bonds, it's every 6 months. And with tips, we do not have that $10,000 limitation. So those are kind of a few of the main differences between those two investments.
Okay. Well, this was really helpful. I'm sure that there are a lot of people clearly who are craving this kind of information right now, considering today's financial landscape. If somebody would like to talk to you more about these investment options, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure. So you can give us a shout at 919-322-4113 or shoot us an email at info@patriotwealthnc.com.
All right. Austin, this was very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Aaron.